Hi guys, and welcome to the inaugural Football Friday debate. I will be dedicating Fridays to talk about relevant and interesting topics from the world of football, as well as looking forward to weekend fixtures once the football season begins. If you're a fan of football, please do subscribe, as I will be releasing weekly videos as well as additional content for the Champions League and also any other major footballing events. One of the hot topics lately has been the Neymar situation at PSG, with a return to Barcelona looking increasingly likely. So I thought I'll begin this series by talking about whether or not PSG are better off without Neymar. Without further ado, welcome to the sports debate.
Here he is again. That's astonishing. It's absolutely He's taken them apart.
Now, there is no denying that Neymar is a phenomenal talent, and there are few players in the world better than him in terms of skill or ability. However, his attitude has come into question throughout his career, and more so this past week with two separate incidents. Last Monday, on the 8th of July, Neymar was meant to have reported to PSG for the first training session of the new season. However, Neymar was not present, and PSG announced a statement saying that they will take appropriate actions towards Neymar for missing that session without any prior notice or, agreements, with PSG giving him permission. However, his father has come out and said that PSG know about the charity work that Neymar does and the commitments he has, so he can't understand why they've said that. Secondly, and for me this is the biggest shock, I've never seen something like this before. So last week Neymar was asked in an interview what his greatest memory in football is. And he answered by saying that his greatest memory in football was playing for Barcelona and winning 6-1 against PSG in the Champions League second leg. Now, look guys, as amazing as that match was, and I'm sure how great those Barcelona players must have felt, including Neymar, it just lacks respect for the current club, doesn't it? How can you play for PSG? You're still playing for PSG, you're under contract with them, they pay your wages, and then you're going to say your best football memory was thumping them 6-1 in probably one of the most humiliating days in the history of PSG Football Club. For me, that looks like a man that wants to leave the club. He knows, he's on his way out, because can you just imagine the boos and the reaction he will get from the fans of PSG, if he was to play for them again? It just lacks respect. I can't even put that to words. How can you say that your best memory was beating the club that you currently play for? But yeah, regardless of all of that, let's look at the speculation quickly before we move on to our main topic, which is, of course, are PSG better off without him? Neymar reportedly messaged the owner of the club that he does not want to play for PSG anymore and that he made a mistake leaving Barcelona. The manager, Thomas Tuchel, has also come out and said that Neymar wants to leave. His most likely destination would be back at Barcelona, but how can they afford, to pay for Neymar? As you know, he cost PSG £200 million, still the record signing in football. And yeah, they will expect similar amount, if not more, for Neymar back. So reportedly, Barcelona want to do a loan deal with the obligation to buy Neymar from next year, which PSG are kind of open to. There's also a second option, which PSG would prefer, is Philippe Coutinho, Samuel Umtiti and Ivan Rakitic in exchange for Neymar. Or finally, one player like a Coutinho or something, plus cash. Barcelona, of course, have spent a lot of money this transfer window. They've already bought Antoine Griezmann for 108 million, as well as Frankie de Jong for 65 million. And that's just two. They've signed other players, but yeah, they've already thrown out a lot of money. And it doesn't seem likely they have the budget or the money right now to be, purchasing a player like Neymar and fall under the financial fair play rules. Other clubs reportedly, interested in Neymar. I mean, who wouldn't be? But yeah, realistically, are Juventus, Bayern, Man United, Real Madrid, the big boys. But for me, it looks like if Neymar is to leave PSG, then Barcelona is his most likely destination. Now that we've, covered up the whole transfer speculation, I want to discuss and debate with you guys if PSG need Neymar that much, are they better off without him or not? And please do leave your comments below because I appreciate everyone's opinions. These are, of course, just my own. So I'd love to discuss the issues with you guys, and I do respond to all comments. 2 summers ago, in the summer of 2017, PSG smashed the world record transfer fee to bring Neymar to Paris. The previous world record was at 88 million, which was the fee Manchester United paid to get Paul Pogba from Juventus. PSG, we were all thinking who's going to be the first £100 million player and so on. PSG just, obliterated it. They more than doubled the world record transfer fee and they broke the 200 million mark. At the time, it was just outstanding, incredible. Since then, we've had a few £100 million plus players now, but no one has reached the £200 million that PSG paid for Neymar. If anything, PSG completely broke the transfer market as it caused inflated prices where now any old, average Joe costs 30 million. So how has Neymar done in the 2 seasons he's been with PSG? He's played for them 58 times in all competitions and he scored 51 goals. That is incredible stats. It's almost a goal a game. And there's no denying the fact that, on the pitch, he's performed very well when he's been on it. He's tormented the League One defenders. However, as many people say, maybe even as a joke, that the French league isn't known for its strength and PSG are really the only big team in that league. But yeah, regardless of the league, his goal-to-game ratio is awesome. He's won 4 trophies with PSG, including 2 back-to-back League One titles. And he was also named the League One Player of the Year for the 17-18 season. So yeah, some really good stats for Neymar. But when you look at it, really, Neymar was signed by PSG, alongside Mbappe to win them the Champions League. That elusive Champions League that PSG, they've not even reached the semi-final yet, despite the large investments they've put in. And for me personally, the investment the Qatari owners have put into PSG, it's almost backfiring on them now because they've just made the French league a walk in the park. So, it's more of a given now that PSG win the French league rather than it being a competition. Of course, we had the one season where Monaco, surprisingly, won the league. But then we all know what happened to that Monaco team. It was just completely dismantled by every top European club buying all their star players. So yeah, now it's like PSG will only really be measured on success with the Champions League simply because of the monopoly they've got now on the French league. Neymar has actually performed pretty well in the Champions League for PSG. He scored 10 goals for them in the 2 seasons. However, in both seasons, at the last 16 stage, Neymar has missed the second leg, and of course against United he missed both legs due to injuries. Now, I'm not saying, it's the injuries are Neymar's fault or anything, but it's coincided with the fact that PSG have lost both last 16 ties against Real Madrid and Manchester United last season, and they've gotten really no closer to winning that Champions League with Neymar. Now, you could say that, they lost because he was injured and it would have been different with Neymar in the team. Regardless of that, there's no denying the fact that PSG's main target is the Champions League and, they've not been able to get close to that. Whilst at PSG, Neymar has also been involved in quite a bit of drama and controversy himself. Most notably, the whole Neymar-Cavani penalty taker arguments they seem to have. So Cavani was of course the first choice penalty taker for PSG when Neymar came. However, Neymar wanted that and he started having a bit of arguments with Cavani on field. So reportedly the owners of PSG paid £1 million to Cavani just to let Neymar take the penalty kicks. There was also a bit of rift between them for free kicks where it seemed to be that, once again, they were arguing over who takes the free kicks, and even Neymar's mate, Dani Alves seemed to, take the ball from Cavani and give it to Neymar. It didn't seem like a very, good dressing room to be in. Another big incident for me personally, which I felt quite aggrieved by, was the whole penalty incident against Dijon. I think, sorry, forgive my pronunciation. PSG were 7-0 up with like 5 minutes to go, or whatever. They've won the match. Neymar has already scored a hat-trick, and PSG were awarded a penalty. Now, Cavani was only 1 goal away from becoming the all-time PSG top scorer in the club's history, and Neymar did not give that penalty to him. Like, for me personally, you've already got your hat-trick. Give the guy, the penalty so he can break the record in front of the home crowd. And yeah, he didn't. He took the penalty to score his 4th goal. And instead of, being cheered, you've scored 4 goals for your team. That's a great achievement. He was booed by the PSG fans. And personally, rightfully so. Neymar's arrival seems to have also, split the dressing room as well. And a lot of people question the whole PSG team spirit. Because, they've got some sensational stars. But why don't they seem to, perform? They should be, going to the further stages of the Champions League every year. I mean, look at it from this year's Champions League. We had Liverpool versus Tottenham. They don't really have, that one star player like a Neymar or, like a Messi or Ronaldo even. But they have a tight-knit team and a group of players that, play well together. And for me, that is more important to success than individual superstars, for every position, which is what PSG seem to have gone for. I think Unai Emery was also relieved from his job from PSG simply because he could not control the egos in play at the club. Neymar is also, known a lot for his diving, especially during the World Cup, which I found just ridiculous. And also, he's also punched a PSG fan whilst walking up to get his, I think, runners-up medal. So he clearly shows a lot of, bad attitude and someone you don't really want in the dressing room, forgetting the fact that, he's getting paid, I think, 600 grand a week, which in turn will want players like Mbappe and, other stars of PSG. They'll want wages to, match the level of Neymar. So if someone like Mbappe is playing probably better than Neymar, then he'll want the same wages. So, there's a lot of factors that, PSG have to account for. Now, I'm not saying PSG are completely innocent in why Neymar acts like this either. They've been known to give Neymar days off or, holidays when they're playing not really important matches and, allowing Neymar to go on holiday to Brazil for his sister's birthday and stuff like that. It makes it seem to Neymar maybe that, he can get away with a lot at the club. He's treated like the Prince of Paris. And yeah, personally for me, PSG are to blame as well for the way Neymar is now acting. Neymar, of course, went to PSG to step out of Lionel Messi's shadow. He wanted to become the best player in the world. He said so himself. He wants to win the Ballon d'Or. But for me personally, is he any closer to winning it than when he was at Barcelona? I don't think so, guys. I think, players like Mbappe, the fun thing is he might have left Messi's shadow to go to Mbappe's shadow because it seems to me like, more people, they like Mbappe more than Neymar. Personally, I think they're both brilliant talents. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think Neymar's been a success or a failure at PSG? And also, like, for instance, if PSG were to sell him, they could get a lot of money or a lot of players in return, which I think will make them a well-rounded team. You'd still expect PSG to walk the French league, really. So I don't think taking Neymar away from that team is going to all of a sudden mean they're not winning the league title. And then with the extra players, they could perhaps perform better in the Champions League as well. The past 2 seasons, as I appreciate it's not his fault, but Neymar hasn't been really a factor in the knockout stages. So yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think PSG are better off without Neymar? Or do you think Neymar is, a talent on the field, regardless of what goes on off it, that you can't replace him? Of course, one thing that no one is to forget is the market value that Neymar brings to PSG. He's one of the few players in the world, probably himself and Ronaldo, that, they're the most marketable players. And he really did put PSG, on the global map, like no other player really can, with the whole connections that Neymar has. We've got less than a month to go now until the start of the Premier League season, at least, and the close of the English transfer window. For me, this, is soon, I think, going to become like a European thing. The biggest three signings so far this season has been Atletico Madrid. They paid 113 million for João Felix from Benfica. Then, of course, Barcelona paid 108 million to Atletico Madrid for Griezmann. And then Real Madrid paid an initial 88.5 million for Eden Hazard to join the club. Let me know if you think, these will be the top three biggest paid transfers, or if they're going to be broken. And also, like I've said, please do subscribe. I'll be releasing weekly videos, and of course, looking forward to fixtures once the seasons begin. If you have any suggestions for, future topics you want me to discuss, please do leave a comment below. And yeah, if you've liked this video, please do leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.
Game, set, and match. Game, set, and